Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever downloaded a file and felt that nagging doubt in the back of your mind? Is this safe? Could it be malware? Today we're diving deep into a fantastic built-in Windows feature that lets you answer those questions without risking your main system. Windows Sandbox. We're going to explore what Windows Sandbox is, how it creates a safe space, and most importantly, how you can use it to examine potentially harmful files like downloaded executables or suspicious documents. And then stick around to the end where I'll share some best practices for making the most out of Windows Sandbox for security, along with sharing some pre-made config files. All right, so what is it? Think of Windows Sandbox as a temporary, isolated mini computer that lives inside your main Windows installation, kind of like a VM, right? Using VMware or VirtualBox. It's a little bit different. It uses container technology. So it's a container using hardware-based virtualization. It creates a super lightweight environment, which means it runs completely separate from your main operating system, like I said earlier, and any changes you make within the sandbox, including if you accidentally or purposefully run malware, stay within that isolated environment and won't affect your actual PC. Asterisks on that for a little bit later. So some of the key features of it is that it's a pristine environment every time you boot it up. It starts fresh every time. It's a fresh Windows 11 installation, and it's completely separate from the host OS. It's secure, it's efficient, and it's disposable. You just click the little button, the little X button up at the top, and it completely destroys itself. You don't have to delete any files anywhere. It's not stored anywhere. It just poof, goes away. So we're going to go and take a look at it. Okay, so here it is. Before we dive into it, let me show you how to get it. First, head on over to Microsoft's website right here. I will have this in the description below. But first, we're going to go here, and this is a very great page. Microsoft actually has fantastic documentation on Windows Sandbox, and including configuration files, sample configurations, including all the different settings and what they do in multiple different ways to install it. But let's step back and head to this website where it says Install Windows Sandbox. Please note that the prerequisites on this page are not optional. You must have virtualization enabled in your BIOS, and unfortunately, every motherboard manufacturer designs their BIOS in a different way. You're going to have to consult your motherboard manual or check their support pages. You'll also have to turn on the feature in Windows Features, and it'll look something like this. Just head over to your search bar and type in Windows Features. It should be the first thing that comes up. Scroll all the way down, and you'll see Windows Sandbox. Once turned on, you can simply launch the Sandbox like any other application on your computer. Just go down to Search, type in Sandbox, press Enter. All right, cool. You have it opened. By launching it like this, you've opened Windows Sandbox with its default settings, which include GPU, networking, and audio pass-through, as you can see from right here. Let's go ahead and close this. There we go. So right here, you can see here's all the default settings. As soon as you open it up, there's nothing to configure. It just opens up exactly like this. So you can full screen it. There's clipboard redirection, meaning you can copy and paste from the Sandbox to the desktop and vice versa. There's also audio input, video input, and also it doesn't say, but there's networking enabled as well, which can be something you want or do not want, depending on your use case. A lot of malware, if you're examining malware in here, they like to be able to contact a command and control server and won't work properly if they can't connect to the internet, which of course you can install software like FakeNet, which tricks malware into thinking it's connected to the internet and try to do its thing by reaching out. So what are the capabilities of this thing? Well, let's open up Command Prompt and check it out. Let's see, Command Prompt, System Info. This command will give us a list of all the important things on our computer, a whole bunch of information, but here's some of the important things. So the OS is Windows 11 Enterprise, interesting, and it uses one processor. Let's see, the total memory is 4 gigs. Interesting. Okay. And it says it's working off of Hyper-V. It's a virtual machine. Let's see. And it has a NIC installed, and it has all this virtualization-based security. So, yeah, very, very lightweight system. It boots almost instantly, and it's designed to do a very limited amount of things in a highly secure environment. So what can you do with it? It seems rather useless, being so limited. It has a single processor and 4 gigs of RAM. You can't do anything with that. Well, let's look up some use cases. So here I have 2 example websites. The first one is called malwaretrafficanalysis.net, which is awesome. You can go to any of these years. But let me show you the very beginning here. So here is where it lands you on this page, and you can click any year, and then you can download real malware and analysis. And this is awesome for a sandbox. You can download these pieces of malware. Let's click a year, and I went ahead and downloaded this one. And I'll show you it right here. Right here you have actual, real IOCs and actual malware that you can run and see what it does to your computer. Pretty cool. You could also do this stuff for debugging, disassembly, decompiling, static analysis, all kinds of really cool stuff like that. Another really great website is VX Underground, supposedly the biggest collection of malware on the internet. You just go to samples, and then you can download a whole bunch of malware and check it out. And analyzing malware is really interesting, especially if you have certain tools like Process Monitor, Process Hacker, which I think has been renamed recently to something else. I have it, I just don't remember the name of it, but I always remember it as Process Hacker. You can look up the connections to where it's reaching out to with Netstat, something like that, and then you can look at the different connections on what it's trying to do. Really cool stuff. So other things that you can do is software debugging, opening suspicious emails, development, connecting and browsing with unknown Wi-Fi hotspots, and a lot more. So for example, and you wouldn't want to do this on the sandbox, log into your Gmail account, Yahoo, or anything like that. You don't want to log into personal stuff because this is supposed to be a testing environment, and especially if you're using malware, you don't want anything on there that can go back to somebody else. So instead, what you want to do is go back to your main system, download whatever it is that you're wanting, or copy an email file, and then bring it over into here and open it and test it out. And it's completely isolated, and you should be safe. Now, a little bit of a security disclaimer, that asterisk that I talked about earlier. So while Windows Sandbox offers really strong security, which makes it highly secure, it's still a solution being hosted on the same hardware you daily drive with. There haven't been any security instance involving Windows Sandbox that I've seen in doing my research for this piece, but that doesn't mean there never will be. My background is in IT, incident handling, and security analysis for the military. The malware analysis and reverse engineers utilize dedicated sandbox machines. With all that said, this is a robust sandbox environment, but use at your own risk. So I thought this was pretty cool and haven't heard many people talking about it, so I wanted to share it with y'all. Check out the page that details all the architecture on it. It's really cool. So here, Let's see if I can show you some stuff. Okay, here on the architecture page has a lot of really interesting stuff if you're into this on how it works. Microsoft documents exactly how the sandbox architecture works, how it works in the memory, how it's a little bit different from a traditional VM with these nice color squares, memory sharing, and then how it does the GPU virtualization, all kinds of really cool stuff. And now we're going to head into the really cool part, which is making config files. So that way, if you don't want something to be an exactly fresh start, but you want some software installed as soon as you boot it up, or if you want it to do certain things, you can set it to do it right away instead of having to do that all after the fact. And here we are on the Use and Configure Windows Sandbox page. Here it shows all the defaults that normally come when you open up the Windows Sandbox like I was talking earlier. It has a maximum capacity of 4 gigs of memory, so you have to be careful on what you choose to install because there's not a whole lot of room for play here. So here's what everything is the default with. It has virtualized GPU, enabled networking, audio and video input is disabled, protected client is disabled, which is increased security settings on the RDP session. And printer redirection is also disabled. Clipboard redirection is enabled. So if you wanted to use a printer with the sandbox, for example, if you wanted to have a dedicated printer to be able to print out results for some reason, like maybe for a project, I guess, if you're doing this for school or something like that, like maybe you could do that. But here they tell you how to configure a custom Windows Sandbox. So you can configure all these different things and more. So you can configure more memory to assign to the sandbox, which is pretty sweet. And to do that, all you have to do is create a file that starts and ends just like that. And all of your settings go right here in the middle. So you scroll down here, there's examples. Let's see. Let's click these examples. Hey, here we go. Look at that. So example 2, installing Visual Studio Code at launch in a sandbox. So you can make a batch file that does this, and then you can replace this with different software if you want, like Process Hacker, Process Monitor, or anything else you want to have automatically installed. Like if you don't want to have networking enabled, you can have it download and install FakeNet, for example, which simulates a networked environment. And then there's a lot of other examples here, like mapping a folder that will connect to your host machine that is encrypted and isolated. So even though it's on your machine, your actual host machine, you should be pretty safe. But you can enable and disable any of these settings, which is fantastic. It makes it highly customizable, and for a free option that comes with Windows, this is really awesome. This is perfect for a beginner who wants to analyze some malware or just play with a little bit of dangerous stuff on the internet. Download it and run it and see what it does. Maybe you have a friend that likes to troll you with, some goofy exe files that freezes your computer or whatever. You can instead put it in this sandbox and then just close it and the problem goes away. Well, I think that is it for now. I thought this was really awesome. Really wanted to share it with you guys. So if you liked it, leave a like. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.